Please hang up and try again.
What's up, freaks? Buckle up for the raw, unadulterated story of the Arm of Roger. Picture this, an album that almost changed the world. That could have redefined an era, if only it hadn't gone up in flames. The Arm of Roger was a band from the 90s, consisting of Timmy Branca, Panda Nelson, Brittany Fett, Zeke Deloric, and Whitey Fong. They had a dream to alter the landscape of rock music. Despite an abundance of general hostility towards each other and an inability to agree on pretty much anything, the band spent hours in the studio, perfecting their sound and pushing the boundaries of what music could be. But tragedy struck. A shitty rival band, a fight with Styx, torched the home of their producer, obliterating almost all the tapes. The fire was a devastating blow, not just to the band, but for all music everywhere. It was a senseless act of bitch-ass jealousy that destroyed like weeks of hard work and creativity. The band was left in shock, their dreams reduced to ashes. Fortunately, one track, Robot Escort, survived the inferno. This track became a beacon of hope for the band. Leader of the band and notorious diva, Timmy Branca, was wrongly accused and ended up in jail for the fire. Fans camped outside of the jail naked, with signs that said, "Free Timmy." The injustice of his imprisonment added to the band's woes, but it also strengthened their resolve. Fast forward to 2002, the band finally released The Ham and Its Lily on the label Sweat of the Alps. It was a labor of love, a product of their blood, sweat, tears, plus some other unmentionable fluids. The Ham and Its Lily was not just an album, it was a declaration that the Arm of Roger was still alive and kicking, or should I say punching. The songs on this masterpiece of an album are more than just music. They are anthems of a generation. While the band is no more, the music lives on. The legacy of the Arm of Roger and their music continues to inspire and influence new generations of musicians. Their story is a testament to the indomitable spirit of artists who refuse to take any shit. And that is what actually happened.
Cheers. So when I released the last episode, I was trying to figure out what to do for this next episode. And I was like, do I do like a 3-part episode and try to grab all the early recordings? And nothing was really sitting right with me, so I went to sleep really early that night, which I never do. I went to sleep at like 7, slept for like 12 hours. And the next morning, the first thought that came into my head was, you should do an Arm of Roger episode. So that's why we're here.
And now, it's time for a new segment called The Tale I'm Going to Tell.
The story behind the story.
In the words of Jim Fairchild! Here we go! In 1998, we were a comparatively small-town concern that had been presented with a little more success and opportunity than we had imagined. I guess we'd imagined it, but it hit us differently than we'd dreamt. I remember a number of conversations with people from Big Cat and B2 that ran roughly along the following lines. Summer Here Kids would have been a huge single if it wasn't so lo-fi. Maybe next time we can get the drums to sound a little bigger. At its roots, Grandaddy is 5 kids who grew up skateboarding, listening to punk rock, metal, and FM radio, and finding oneself through singular pursuits outside the mainstream. We started having funny conversations about having fun with these new commercial ambitions. There were hours of drunken riffing and laughter, making up fake songs about California and skateboarding, Pavement, we were supposed to be the next Pavement, Spacemen, etc., all based on what we thought were people's impressions of these bearded skateboarders from Modesto, California. Over time, these conversations began to take shape and reveal themselves as a goal to actually record a fake album that would be submitted to the label on completion of the real album. When we had a real album in our pocket, we'd send our admittedly great label V2 the fake one let them trip out for an hour or a day, then send them the genuine article. They would think it was funny. It would level expectations and provide some insight into the personality of the band. We did this. We went through the trouble of making a fake record. We sat on it for months. When Jason finished making the software slump in November 1999, he made cassettes of the fake album for, I guess, around 7 of the key people at V2 Worldwide. We FedExed them so that they'd all arrive on a Thursday. The story we heard was that people were arranged around tables in different parts of the world listening to the new Grandaddy album. Jason had made the sequence so that the first few songs could be sort of believable as our new tunes. I mean, the songs were largely terrible, but there is a sense that whoever made them possesses some knowledge of song structure, melody, and general composition. This is Thursday. I was quote-unquote managing the band at this point, so I thought for sure I'd hear a word of response by that evening. Friday at the latest. The weekend came and went. I called Jason Monday and was scared, thinking the idea had crashed in one of two ways, that V2 had found enough to like that the gears were in motion to release this piece of shit, or that we'd been dropped. I wanted to call and say, hey guys, we were joking. Jason's perspective was just chill, and let them reach out. Another day and a half went by, and I was properly freaked out. This was pre-caller ID days, so every call that came to my house, I'd let it go to the message machine, begin listening, and if it was someone from the label, pick up and be prepared to continue the ruse as long as I could. Finally, at the end of Tuesday, the phone rings and our beloved A&R person, Kate Hyman, is leaving me a message about receiving the record. I pick up and Kate says, "Hey Jim, I got the album. Now will you send me the real one, you fucking asshole?" Exact wording. I can still hear it. People were either angry with us about wasting their time with this stunt, or had a decent sense of humor and were as pleased as we were about it. I also want to say, before we get started, that I am a big fan of stupid, garbage, sophomoric humor, so whatever words I use to describe this album they're said with love and admiration and no judgment, and I'm not sticking my nose up at anything, ever. So, with that, like any normal Grandaddy album, the artwork in the album has fun little details and Easter eggs. It has all the lyrics in case there's any confusion as to what's being said. Yeah, it's bright and colorful and kind of dumb, and I love it. My favorite little detail, I think, has to be, I mean, there's tons of stupid made-up names that they think, but the special help from Richard Crybitch is that's my favorite. No thanks to A Fight with Sticks, you'll get yours in the end. And there's another Easter egg that we are going to mention later. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay, we've covered the fake history, we've covered the real history. Let's get into the tracks. Musically, we're off to a great start. It's already so demented. And our main character here is like a caricature of an old English chap, and it's safe to assume he's got some money, because he's got not just any old escort, but it's a robot too. Is the music really stupid? Yes. Is it also kind of fun to listen to? Also yes. But you know what I actually really do like is that lazy guitar in what I'm going to refer to as the chorus, where you hear like the robot mumbling. That's fun. I like that. Joke song or not, it's fun to imagine this guy and his robot hanging out, drinking champagne by a Ferris wheel. They're having a nice time, and his loneliness is being pacified, but it seems like deep down our narrator knows that this is artificial. And I don't want to assert that anybody was trying to make any poignant statement with this song, but the theme we're playing with here has lasting, if not like increasing relevance. The idea of forming relationships with AI continues to be a thing that pops up in fiction, and then also in real-ass life. There are people who are having relationships with their AI. Yeah, I wonder if any of those people wonder what their AI really feels. Yeah, me too. You remember in the 90s at Target, those music kiosks that had kind of generic music that had like vague categories like tranquility or rainforest? This song feels like it's taken a jab at generic sounding world music. On the one hand, it's like taking it so seriously, but then there's these really stupid pan flute and trumpets on the keyboard, clearly. With the vocals, I at first was like, oh, is somebody else in the band singing? But if you listen closely, I think it is just Jason with his voice.
It's way down.
There's something about the delivery. I'm 99.9% sure it's him. There are so many incredible lines in this song. I think one of my favorites is the where he says to them, or he says, don't say stuff like this. Don't tease birds with harmful words like punk ass, scared to sleep on cars, cat loving bitch. That's the meanest shit I've ever heard said to a bird. But don't say stuff like that. What you should say instead is, wow, your beak looks shiny. It's a very nice thing to say to a bird. I also love the cougar burger slant rhyme. That's fire. That's great. The parrot telling him to go fuck himself. That's great. And it's overall a pretty straightforward message that we can all get behind is be nice to animals and don't freeze them in ice and don't throw them from malls upstairs. Our hero in this song is naked, and you know he's naked because he says a couple times in the song that he's naked. I think it's safe to assume this is a parody nod to 2000 Man. He stands naked on the moon, he listens to lo-fi, he likes to record rock guitar, and he likes distortion, he likes to watch the stars and satellites. I mean, so far this guy sounds pretty cool. And he wants to be a superstar. What more do you need to know? This song in particular, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall at the offices of V2 to see people's reaction. Oh my god, what a fucking nightmare. It's another really dumb song with some fun elements. You know what the problem is that I've listened to these tracks maybe too many times, and to the point where now I'm like, is this a good song? And it's like, no. Just because I enjoy listening to them doesn't mean that they're good. But I do like the robo vocals. And I like that sludgy, kind of gooey sounding guitar alongside that twangy, kind of spastic guitar. I kind of unironically like the intro to this song. It's got like a really nice, dirty groove, and yeah, this song gets stuck in my head a lot. I like the really solid delivery in the vocals in the beginning, and I think it's a pretty clear reference to the Steve Miller Joker song, but then it takes like a very deranged, sharp left turn. This is so funny. He blames all the zeros in his phone number, and then it's just all the people who've called him by accident. I also like that our narrator sounds like he's getting increasingly annoyed as the song goes on. There's something so painfully funny about writing a whole song about getting mildly inconvenienced on a regular basis. Another totally ridiculous song, but it is fun to bob your head to this song. Simpler times. Okay, this song, I for sure just really like it, unironically. I think it's a good song. It's short, it's bouncy, we get like a really grandiose intro and outro, and it's a nod to the American standard. I've been working on the railroad, but instead of accomplishing anything, our character here is getting nothing accomplished. It's just a super quick sketch of like a cynical loser who seems to be getting worked up over nothing and accomplishing nothing. It's just a really cute song, and I like it. Right, guys? Yeah. I need you to drink deep for this one. Okay. We start off with some corny, like, baby music that I can only assume is sampled from, like, a 70s or 80s kind of show. I couldn't find any information about it, but that's my assumption. This song sounds like if Raffi and Gigi Allen collab together. Anyways, to offset the super dopey saccharine sound, we get like little gremlin noises woven through, and we get Jason and Jim on the tag teaming. They do a great job. I think they're so fucking funny, and it's just a little slice of life of two dudes. Well, actually, it's multiple characters, recounting their days in the week in what kind of feels like, ooh, fishy fishy. Recounting their days in their hometown, and you get little vignettes of that range from like mundane to absurd to like dirtbag debauchery. But I like the different characters that pop up. I like Jim's Danny DeVito haircut guy, he's funny, and his like the guy who's obsessed with his little nephew or cousin, his nephew. And Jason's got some really stupid characters too. Some of these anecdotes sound super made up, and some of them sound like they're based in some kind of reality. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't know what this says about me as a person, but I find this song really comforting for how easy the humor flows. You can only come up with this kind of stuff with someone you are super comfortable with, who you trust, who genuinely makes you laugh. It takes a certain level of comfort and familiarity to make something this chaotic. And there's a happy ending at the China buffet, so all's well that ends well.
Like Santana and shit like that. Okay, so you got that. And then
it's an exploration of this band's creative process. They just can't seem to get on the same page. There's a breakdown in communication. God, there's so many great lines. I'm just gonna list like my favorite lines. I love the fundamentals, rock, pizzazz, and the vocals being loud enough and shit. Oh, okay, the Easter egg from before. If you are lucky enough to get your hands on one of these, please do. But so in, isn't she gorgeous? In this track, Jim's like giving an example of artistic freedom, and it's just like awful noises. That's on the track, but if you read in here, it's the lyrics to Papa Don't Preach. A line that always intrigued me was like, get a producer, or you should be in a little indie rock band. Because I wonder how many times the band had to hear that until they were like, if you're gonna keep telling us that, we're gonna fucking tell you to take a hike. When they're like barking orders at poor Kevin, who's like such a good sport about it. Okay, my favorite line in this whole thing is, I hate every one of you guys in this band. This is my theory as to why it's my favorite line, or why it jumps out to me so much. Because I think you can tell that the person who is playing this nightmare band leader thinks that if you were in this position, that would be the fucking worst thing on earth. And that what this person playing the character actually thinks is very much the opposite. So I'm a little embarrassed as to how many times I've listened to this track, to the point, like, I know it so well. I remember I got mildly inconvenienced at something, and the true thing in my heart to say was, where's Jay Davis when you needed him? I just heard an owl. It sounds like a barred owl. This is another one, I've listened to it so many times that I'm like, I kind of like this intro. It's gross and nasty. I think this is the track that makes me laugh the hardest. It's just pure nonsense. It's so good. It's hard for me to put into words how much I really love the vocal delivery. It's so stupid! Also, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to execute this without laughing. I don't know who this song is about, or if it's even about anybody, but this song is evergreen because there's always going to be people who think they're so cool, and you look at them and you're like, you are not cool at all. I have a few favorite lines in this. One is, we got a melody, it's all fucked up for you. So stupid. Number two is, you're a dick and an asshole to everybody, that's why we dedicate this song to your fucked up self. I feel like I'm tripping. Oh my god. Okay, my favorite line, favorite line in this song. I can't even say it. It's when he goes, I'm trying. I'm trying to be nice about it. You're writing a whole song about someone being fucked up, and them and their dad are number 1 and 2 pussy, but you're trying to be nice about it. It's so funny. Yeah, every time I hear it, it makes me so happy. I hope I'm recording. A little Stues. Oops. Now then it's the Down with the Animal radio edit, but that we've heard that already from the Jim Fairchild story. Just when you thought it couldn't get any dumber. You totally redeem yourself! No, we get this fucking song. Well, it's a song about a sexually liberated, independent, that same fucking fish is just hanging out. It's a song about a tough lady who is ready for anything. Am I right, guys? Yeah. Maybe the most controversial? I I don't care. I don't think so. Whatever. I love it. I don't care who's singing. I can't even think about it. It makes me laugh too much. But whoever is singing, someone is cracking up during the verses, and that makes me crack up. I feel bad for anybody who has not had those kind of moments with their friend where they make something really really stupid, really funny. This song is certainly not meant to be taken too seriously, is what I'm trying to say. Whatever. These days there's songs out there that are pretty freaking identical to this song lyrically. So, this song was ahead of its time, and the world wasn't ready for it, but now we are. The music isn't what's super important at this juncture. What is inspiring is the band's dedication to fuckery and fun. It's just a cool chapter in the band's history, and to get completely unnecessarily sentimental about it, you can like feel the camaraderie and the love in this album, love for each other. I don't know. I just love that it was given the time and attention to exist, and it holds a very special place in the hearts of Grandaddy fans. And if you haven't heard it yet, what is the holdup? Go now, go listen to it. I'll link below how you can listen to this masterpiece. Mwah. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me for this very fun to make episode. I will see you next time, where we're gonna talk about Someday. We're just going to Someday next, okay? Your beak looks shiny.